Welcome to part 2 of the world's best Flappy Bird tutorial series. Last time we looked at how to make the bird fly. Now we need to add some pipes so that there's actually a challenge to this game. First, we need a new scene to hold our pipe. As the root node, we will use an area 2D. That way we can detect when the player collides with the pipe. Next, I'm going to rename this root node to pipe and save it in our root directory. This pipe is going to need two separate collision shapes, one for the upper half and one from the lower half. For now, I'm going to start with the upper half, and then later we will duplicate it down to the lower half. That way we don't have to repeat this twice. Select the pipe node and add a collision shape 2D. And I'm going to rename this to upper. Then I'm going to add a sprite 2D as a child of the upper half, and then assign the pipe.png to the texture slot. Next, select the upper half of the pipe, and then in the right we will go ahead and give it a new shape, and I'm going to use rectangle shape for this one. Next, we want to resize it to fit the pipe properly. For the width, I used 187 pixels, and then for the height, I landed on 870. So now that we have the upper half, I'm going to go ahead and duplicate it and then rename this one to lower. Then all I'm going to do is come down to transform and set rotation degrees to 180. Next, I'm just going to move it down a little bit. That way we have both the upper and lower part of our pipe. Next, let's go ahead and attach a script to the pipe node. Basically, all this script is going to do is just move the pipe to the left. The first thing I'm going to do is make a variable up at the top. This will hold how fast we want the pipe to move. I'm going to call it move speed and set it to 50. The next thing we'll need is a variable for the max offset. When we spawn the pipe in, we're going to randomize the Y position. That way there's actually some challenge to the game. Max offset basically just sets a limit on how far up or down the screen that the pipe can spawn in. For now, I'm just going to set this to 500. Next, in the ready function, I want to go ahead and actually use that max offset variable and randomize our Y position. To do this, I'm going to use the randf range function and set it to negative max offset for the first parameter and max offset for the second parameter. Basically, what we're saying here is generate a number between negative 500 and 500, and then finally we will add the offset variable to our position.y. Finally, in the process function, all we really need to do here is just move the pipe to the left. So to do that, basically we just subtract move speed from our x position, but make sure you multiply that by delta to make sure that we stay consistent across different frame rates. Next, let's reset the game whenever the player dies. First, select the pipe node, and then in the right, we will come to the node tab and then double click the body entered, select connect, and then connect it to itself. For now, all we're going to do is just reload the current scene by calling getTree.reloadCurrentScene. This will restart the game whenever we hit the pipe. To test things out, I'm going to come into the game scene and add a pipe in, and then we will go ahead and run the game. It seems like everything is working fine, however the pipe is pretty slow, so I'm going to go ahead and speed that up. All we need to do to fix this is come into the pipe script and increase the move speed variable. I am going to use 250 for now. Next, back in the game scene, let's go ahead and set up the pipe spawner. That way the pipes will automatically spawn in the game. First, add a child node to the root node. This will just be a node 2D, and rename it to pipe spawner. Next, let's go ahead and create a script for this pipe spawner node. The first thing we're going to need in the script is a reference to the pipe scene. So I'm just going to make a onReady variable that will preload in pipe.tscn. Next, we can go ahead and delete the process function and make a new function for spawning the pipe. All we're going to do here is just make a copy of the pipe scene. So I'm going to make a variable called pipe and set it to pipescene.instantiate. Next, we will just add the pipe as a child to this node. Next, in the ready function, all I'm going to do is just call the spawn pipe function that we just made. Next, I'm going to go ahead and select the pipe spawner node and move it off to the right. That way we can't see pipes spawning in. And if we go ahead and run this, we should be able to see that a pipe spawns in and it eventually appears on the screen. And there you go, there it is. And if you hit it, the game restarts. Obviously, this isn't quite what we want because we want pipes to infinitely spawn. So to fix this, we're going to set it on a loop using a timer. So select the pipe spawner node and add a timer node. Then go to the node tab and connect the timeout signal to the pipe spawner script. Super simple. All we're going to do in here is call the spawn pipe function again. This is completely personal preference, but I am going to move the on timer timeout function up above the spawn pipe function. This is just my personal opinion and how I organize my code. You don't have to do this. If you run the game now, you'll see that only the one pipe spawns in. To fix that, all you have to do is go to the timer node and select auto start. That way the timer automatically starts when the game starts. And with that, we should now have pipes infinitely spawning. If obviously they're a little bit too close together, so to fix that, we can just simply increase the wait time. Something around 4 seconds should work well. And there you go, you can see our game now works and we have pipes infinitely spawning. However, there is one small issue. Whenever you hit a pipe, we do actually get an error in the console. Basically, Godot doesn't like it when you remove a node in the same frame as a physics function. It's kind of complicated to explain, but basically, we need to wait to reload the current scene until the next frame starts. So to do that, all we do is say getTree.callDeferred reload current scene. And there you go, no more errors when we hit pipes. This game is finally starting to take shape. If you found this video useful, then be sure to drop a subscribe down below. I'm trying to hit 50 subscribers. I'm almost there. So just be sure to hit that button, like the video, and I will see you guys in the next part of this series where we will add a score counter to the game.